115 Squadron. That was a very famous squadron. 115 Squadron was RAF, as I said. It also was, or has, and I've got the figures at home, pardon me, it was the squadron that lost the most, no, that flew the most missions, dropped the greatest tonnage of bombage on Europe, and had the greatest losses of any Bomber Command area. Now, whether that's something to be proud of or not, I don't know. The first part, yes, the losses not so good. We were fortunate. There were 3 different squadrons on Whitbury. It was rather a big airbase in those days, because the Lancaster was a big aircraft and carried a decent bomb load. They didn't take that long to take off. I have revisited Whitford many years, or 1989, I think we went back for a trip, and found the old drone, pulled up outside, and there was a guardhouse. Very smart Swaddy came out and said, "Good morning, sir. Can I help you?" I said, "Well, I don't know whether you can or not, but I was stationed here during the war in the Air Force." "Oh, yes, sir, just a moment." And he goes back inside the guardhouse. Now comes the sergeant. He said, "I believe you were stationed here, sir." "Yes, that's right." He said, "Would you like to have a look at the little museum that we've got set up in the guardhouse here?" I said, "Love to." So there it was, practically a whole outfit of what I used to wear and what I used to work on. The radios, the receivers, the transmitters, the old key, everything else was there. Well preserved, and despite the fact that it's now an army base, they were quite proud of the fact of what it had been there before. I have had communications in the last, 18, 20 years from, I don't ask me his name now, but he was organising a memorial to be set up at Whitford with all the names of the personnel that ever served in the RAF at that particular aerodrome. Primarily not far in front of the advancing army lines, trying to deter any rebuilding of bridges. We did a lot of biscuit bombing, what they used to call biscuit bombing, because the people down there didn't have much, and the Allied Command was trying to make it easier for them. So, really speaking, whilst I say yes, I was on operations, yes, I was, but it wasn't nearly as tough as if I'd been in operations 12 months earlier. So I suppose I can consider myself rather fortunate in that regard. My main object was to listen in, as you are doing now, and making sure that we got anything that came through. There was radio silence, of course, unless it became an emergency. Then you were allowed, under certain circumstances, to send something. I was never in that position to have to do that, but listening out was far more essential than if you ever got into big trouble and had to send something. So my position in the aircraft was, if you know what a Lancaster looks like, you had your nose, you had your bomb over down there, you had your skipper and your engineer. Immediately behind him, behind his bulkhead, there was the navigator, and there was another big bulkhead because the navigator had a lot of electronic equipment. There came me as a wireless operator with my radio receiver transmitter, plus I had a little chute there where we used to send out G. You've heard of G. And I was about, the navigator and I were about the only ones that really didn't have to get terribly rugged up, because running down that side of the aircraft was a heating pipe, and one in front of me as well. The only part of me that ever got cold really were my feet, and I used to wear about 6 pairs of socks plus the fur-lined flying boots, but the rest of me was always reasonably warm, which I'm most thankful for.